Thank you, everyone, for coming. We'll get right into it. I'd like to start with just a quick introduction so that you know who I am. I've spent my career growing disruptive technology businesses, both inside large companies and also as independent venture-funded businesses. I've worked at large companies like Microsoft and General Instrument and IDC, the global market research firm. And some of my small venture-funded companies have been successful, others haven't. One was acquired by Microsoft, and another merged into a giant joint venture with Walmart. I'm now an executive advisor at A.Team. And A.Team is an AI-native systems integrator for enterprises who want to build agentic AI systems into their workflows. And so we have a lot of experience seeing what is successful and what some of the challenges are. And so I'd like to share those experiences with you today. First, I'd like to start with a few questions to just get a sense of the audience here. Who here in your company is using AI in some form or fashion today? Okay, that's pretty good. Who has moved these experiments past the prototype stage and into production? Okay, a few less. And who feels like you've been able to prove ROI at scale? All right, a few fewer. Well, this is actually pretty similar to industry benchmarks. In fact, McKinsey and BCG report that about 3/4 of companies are using AI today in some form or fashion, but only 1/3 of those have taken these experiments past prototype stage and into production. And once they're into production, only half of those have gotten to the point of delivering ROI. So we're at early stages in this whole journey. And many organizations still see challenges in getting value from AI. So what I'd like to cover today is what separates those AI native companies from those that aren't, how to build and architect AI agentic systems that learn over time and get better with every action that is taken, and how to make AI a core capability of your organization. So we see that as enterprises approach building out AI systems, there are typically 4 value blockers. First, AI expertise is elusive. Many companies just don't have the talent around to be able to execute on their AI goals. Second, it's hard to trust AI, right? We've all experienced that ourselves as users, and hallucinations have been talked about much in this conference. But it's also hard to evaluate AI. And if you can't evaluate something, it's really hard to build an investment case against it. And then third is most organizations do not have the data foundations to be prepared to execute and build an AI system. And then lastly, everything is moving so fast. Right? It's been like 0 days since the last major announcement in AI. And we don't make decisions in our companies typically that fast. So these are some of the challenges that we've seen. And as a result, most companies are just using generic tools that are available and trying to pull those generic tools into their workflows. And what we see is those generic tools end up delivering generic results. And one way we think about it is that most organizations are renting intelligence and not building it. Now, the uncomfortable truth when you make a query or do an API call to an LLM, you're essentially renting their intelligence. And this is not a path for wide-stream success. Every dollar you spend with them is lost, and you don't have any benefit from the compounding of learning of the results. They get all of that benefit. However, those that are more successful in getting to ROI are looking at this as building intelligence. They have agents embedded into their workflows. They've architected the system so that the AI gets smarter in the context of their business with every action that's taken. And thus, this proprietary intelligence compounds and really forms a basis of a competitive moat. And so in order to really move from the reactive approach to autonomous agentic systems, you've got to change the way you think about it. You've got to, think about how we can detect and act on business signals. We've got to think about systems that remember patterns to guide future actions. We think about how to integrate the AI systems directly into your workflows and deliver a system that continuously improves with every interaction. And so let me talk about a use case that I was deeply involved in that maybe will bring some of this stuff to life. So when I was Chief Product Officer at IDC, of course, this is a large global market intelligence firm that has deep assets in market intelligence, had built over 60 years of proprietary information on technology markets and products and services and implementation successes. And we knew that we wanted to approach adoption of AI and get that into our business, but we weren't sure exactly how. And we literally had all 4 blockers. We didn't have the expertise. We knew we needed to move fast. Our data systems were very disparate, stuck in PDF documents and analysts' notes and dozens of different databases. And so we weren't quite sure what to do first, but we contracted with the A.Team, who had a lot of experience in this area, and we built a prototype in 8 weeks. And that prototype simply looked at all of our existing, or many of our existing, not all, but many of our existing data sources, and enabled our users, both internal users and external users, to query that corpus of data and get an intelligent response that is based on our unique proprietary data. Now, once we had this in our hands and played with it and looked at users playing with it, it gave us the confidence and the insights needed to figure out where to go next. And we really defined 3 different lanes from that prototype. One lane was, hey, we could actually build brand new products that leverage AI that we can sell to customers. The second lane was, hey, we can use this in our traditional operations to accelerate the process of creating market research reports or delivering data. And then third is, okay, there's, of course, all kinds of ideas to use AI in the departmental operations of the company, finance, HR, sales, and so forth. And so from that foundation, we said, all right, let's go off and build a new product. Let's take this, what we've learned so far, and build a product that solves a clear business problem. And in so doing, we're going to learn a lot and create a new line of business. And so the business problem we focused on was a business problem we knew well, but delivered as a service, not through a digital platform. It was helping IT executives pick the right software for their business purpose with confidence. So a process that almost every company goes through many times a year. And this is a process that has a very specific workflow that is generally used across organizations. First, you define your business goals. Then you understand a little bit about the vendors that are in the category that you're interested in. Then you define your requirements that you need to, that the software needs to achieve. You evaluate the options and create a short list. Then you pick your top vendor, you negotiate the deal, and you're off to the races. And so we built an AI system that followed that workflow. That wasn't just like a blank canvas of chat, but really supported the user through that workflow. And that minimized the training that was needed for new users, and it also maximized adoption. So as we defined that product and that initiative, we built out the rest of the team with A.Team staff members. We developed the product, we delivered the product, we launched the product, we signed up first customers. And lo and behold, we found that customers were telling us that this new platform now takes a process of picking a major new software package that could take 6 months, and now they see a possibility to reduce that process to 6 weeks. And the evaluation stage, which is a key data-intensive part of that process, went from like 5 weeks to a number of hours. So this is a clear case where we built the system around an existing workflow. We leveraged our proprietary data to be able to recommend software vendors based on sets of requirements. And we built a system that enabled us to achieve the business goal. Now, at the highest level, the process is kind of two steps. First, make sense of structured and unstructured data. And then secondly, surface the insights that lead to actions that deliver against the business goal. In this case, it was picking the right software for your business purpose. Now, what we found is that we were supporting in this product big decisions that customers were making. If you're picking a new ERP system, you don't want to pick the wrong pick the wrong vendor, because then you're stuck for many, many years and millions of dollars. And so it was really important that that the answers were right, and that we trusted the system to be able to offer it to our customers under our brand name. And so it was important to us that we have a human in the loop, and we architected the system to work very, very well with AI. This started out with an analyst looking at the results and saying, hey, would I have recommended the same thing based on all the data that I'm seeing? And then it extended to the users themselves to give feedback along the process and also in the final result, so that we had reinforcement learning built in the system. And this human in the loop enabled us to create this feedback loop that enabled us to develop proprietary intelligence over time. So at A.Team, we've developed a framework for building these kinds of systems and delivering ROI that we find works across almost all applications. So first step, connect everything into agentic processing. Get your unstructured, semi-structured, and structured data visible by agents, clean and visible by agents. Next, make that visible to the AI. And so the AI can analyze that information and start to surface insights. Validate those insights with a human, and make sure that human can provide feedback back into the AI system so that the system can get better. Now, of course, as those insights are surfaced, they provide the insights that are needed so the business can take actions, or agents can take actions that achieve the business goal of the program or the product. And in building it out this way, you have additional benefits of compounding intelligence over time. The more actions you take, the more intelligent the system gets, and you continue to build this proprietary advantage. Second, you have agentic action instead of a flat query and wait for response type of user experience. And so this agentic action, when built into your workflows, gives you that proactive partner that you need instead of a reactive approach. And once it's integrated into your workflows, you minimize the training overhead for new users and maximize adoption. So this enables you as a company to build the 4 pillars that we see that are necessary to be truly AI native. First, right, data is your differentiator. It's your proprietary data and your proprietary workflows that are your competitive moat. Build on that. Second, second, integration drives ROI. So the more that you're able to integrate the agentic system into existing workflows, the faster your path to ROI. Of course, speed wins. We measure MVPs and iterations in weeks, not months. And lastly, builders over slides. The best AI companies, or the best companies that are most successful in implementing AI, are getting systems in the hands of users so they can figure out what users really want, what they need, what their issues are, and also what the systems are capable of. And so starting that journey as soon as you can is incredibly important for success. And so to get started on this journey, we encourage our partners to ask, first, what human process are we augmenting? Secondly, what proprietary data gives us an advantage in being able to do this, or are we bringing to the table? And third, how do we want to measure success in 90 days? So let me give you a couple more examples of some use cases that we've seen at A.Team to give you a sense of how this can work in other environments. First, a large healthcare systems provider came to us with a challenge that their nurses were spending lots of time on documentation and were particularly challenged around particular kinds of documentation around insurance claims. And so this is a case where thank you, the documentation needs to adhere to very complex sets of regulations and also needs to be protected based on HIPAA requirements. And so we built out an agentic solution that automated these write-ups and resulted in a 40% increase in productivity in nurses' time. In this case, the MVP was built in 4 months. Next, a big consumer goods company was seeing quarterly declines in sales and wasn't sure why, in a key region and wasn't sure why. And they had all the data in the world, but weren't able to get the analyses from that data with their existing systems and their existing IT organization. Those analyses took days to turn around. And so they came to us. We embedded custom AI agents into the finance and marketing workflows that pulled data from multiple disparate sources and shifted a very static data analysis process to real time, cutting their analysis time from days to hours. And lastly, working with a big civil engineering firm, they came to us and shared that one of the big obstacles in their business is an upfront step called an environmental site assessment. Turns out for any civil engineering project you need to start with, or big property transaction, you need to start with an environmental site analysis. And this is a process or an analysis that requires governance of multiple federal and state regulations, as well as complex information about the site itself, and is currently done by subject matter experts that spend days and days and days and days to create these reports. So similarly, we created an agentic system that looked at all these regulations, was able to consult the information about specific sites, and create a report for those subject matter experts to review and approve. And the result was a 70% reduction in the time that it took to create these reports, and a $6 million annual savings immediately for the company. So the companies that are getting this right end up creating a native, or an AI native, what we call an AI native flywheel. The agents connect data across fragmented systems with insights that are pushed to the front lines. As those insights come in, they're turned into actions, whether it be creating content, whether it be supporting decisions, whether it be routing approvals. And the more actions you take, the smarter the system becomes. And this builds a future-proof system, or a proprietary intelligence layer that continues to expand your competitive moat. And so our view is that the companies that are best prepared to do this aren't the best funded companies or the most advanced or thinking. The companies that are most successful are the companies that are approaching this and saying, AI is not a tool that you use. AI is a capability that you build. They stop renting AI and they start owning it. Thank you very much. And if you're interested in talking more, please visit us in the booth or after the session. Thanks.